Warning: the following video contains content intended for older audiences, mainly teens and adults. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to Crime Circuit. This is Shivon Perez. April 1st, 2018, Altamont Springs, Florida. Shivon invited Bradley Atkins to her apartment for Easter dinner. The couple had been together for years, but recently, Bradley had made the decision to end their relationship. That evening, what began as a seemingly ordinary visit would soon spiral into a terrifying ordeal. Shivon mentioned a leaking pipe in the bathroom and asked Bradley if he could take a look at it. Wanting to be helpful, Bradley agreed. He gathered his tools, made his way to the restroom, and laid on the floor to get a better view of the problem underneath the sink. Suddenly, Shivon entered the bathroom holding a green container. Bradley asked, "What's inside?" Shivon chillingly replied, "It's gasoline, you son of a bitch." Without hesitation, Shivon sprayed Bradley with the flammable liquid. Just when he thought things couldn't get any worse, Shivon produced a long nozzle torch. "You're going to pay," she screamed repeatedly. Flames erupted. Bradley realized that he was on fire. In a panic, he ran through the apartment, desperately trying to extinguish the flames. Shivon locked the front door, trapping him inside, and chased him around, attempting to burn him alive. Despite the chaos and pain, Bradley managed to break through the locked door and escape, running for help. Shivon pursued him briefly but then turned back, going back into the burning apartment to save her pet dog. Moments later, the Seminole County Fire Department arrived and extinguished the fire. In the aftermath, Bradley suffered severe burns to his chest, neck, face, and hands. He was taken to the Orlando Regional Medical Center. Shivon, on the other hand, she emerged with no visible injuries, but was later taken to the hospital as well for a further checkup.
All right, Ms. Perez, so you were at Miranda yesterday while you were by the female officer. What do you remember happening yesterday? So tell me, go through yesterday's date. Before the fire, what do you remember?
I don't remember. I only remember warming up the food, getting everything up ready for a barbecue.
Okay, so you were getting ready for a barbecue. Okay, so go through that day for me.
That's all I remember. I woke up and he said, "Okay, I'm coming over," and I said, "All right." He was coming back over with the dog, and we were talking about us.
Hold on 1 second. Thank you, man. Okay, you said that you guys were. 1 second. Okay, so you say you were talking about him bringing over the dog, or who are you talking about?
We were talking about
Well, no, what's his name?
Bradley
Bradley what? What's his last name?
Atkins.
Okay, so you say you were talking to him about the dog,
We
bringing
were
the dog.
talking on the phone,
Uh-huh.
and he was gonna come over to bring the dog and to eat dinner with me. And we were gonna go to the movies for Easter.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so he was gonna come over. I'm sorry, this door. We were usually in a quiet place.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this.
So what now?
I don't want to talk about this.
You don't want to talk about it anymore? Why not?
Yeah, so I've been here typing for like 2 hours.
Can we talk this?
I'm sorry, because
Yeah,
what?
they're on previous charges. They've been here for a while.
Well, the thing is, we have to try to figure out what happened. So that's why we're talking to you now to get your side of what everything and what happened.
That's not his picture though.
What we were supposed to do is have dinner and go to a movie and have a barbecue.
So then what happened? So at some point, Mr. Atkins comes to your apartment, or comes to the apartment. Then what happens after that?
I don't remember everything.
Okay, so tell me, what do you remember? Tell me the stuff that you remember.
Just that's it. We hugged in the morning and we were like, "Good morning. I love you. I'll see you in a little bit. The food's almost done. I got everything from the barbecue prepared."
Yeah, but if you click back, that picture comes up.
Okay. Do you have a barbecue grill?
No, there's all over where we live.
Okay, so there's barbecue grills. Okay, so that's all you remember. You don't remember him coming to the house? You don't
We came
remember?
to the house and we hugged, we kissed, and we talked, and that's it. And then next thing I was telling him was about the barbecue, and his food was warm on top of the table with a Coke and some ice. And then I don't remember anything else because it happened so fast.
So
I don't even know where Nick is. And nobody would tell me. Nobody would tell me anything about
was that your dog?
Nobody would tell me.
Okay, so Mr. Atkins, he comes over. You guys kiss and you hug and you talk. Around what time was that?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay. Okay, what is it you think that has you, the reason why you don't remember the things? Is it that?
Because of all the things that happened. I can't focus. I'm thinking about my dog. I can't call my family. I don't know how Bradley's doing. I'm just so stressed out.
Well, let me explain to you. We're talking to you so we can paint a picture. It's like,
I left
we don't know
my
what's going on.
keys in the house. I don't even know how I'm gonna get in. Who's in the house? I don't know anything. I don't know if my things are gonna be there when I get back. I don't know nothing that's going on. I'm just so lost.
Okay, so real quick. So the last thing that you remember is Bradley coming over and you guys hugging, kissing, and talking, and that's it. Nothing else after that.
I remember trying to help him
You're trying to help
take
him.
his shirt off.
Hmm.
And that's it.
And why are you trying to help him take his shirt off?
Because he was on fire.
Okay, so
And so was I.
how did that happen? How do you remember that happening?
Because I was trying to help him
Help him what?
take it off. I was telling him to take it off and we were yelling. I was trying to call 911 and so was he.
Okay, so but how did he? Because fire doesn't just magically appear on someone. So how did he get on fire? How was his shirt on fire? Like what caused his shirt to catch on fire?
I bought this thing for the grill.
Okay.
It helps you start it and you don't have to be close to it so you won't get burned.
Okay.
Because I'm scared of fire, so
Okay.
I didn't want to be near it. Because every other time we've done barbecue, it jumps on my shirt and it jumps on my skin.
Okay.
So I did it so none of us would get in the middle of it.
Okay.
I went to show it to him and he was too close. And then as soon as the shirt got fire, I went ahead and I started pulling it out, trying to take it out by him so we can get out of the house. But by then the rug was already burning.
How did?
Because I dropped it. I just dropped it. I was trying to help him and I dropped the machine. I was just trying to help him.
Okay. Okay. So where were you with him when you showed him this like torch thing that you're describing? Like what area of the apartment were you guys?
I don't remember. All I remember is trying for us to get out of there so we wouldn't get hurt.
Okay, so you remember his shirt being on fire. You remember how it started, but you don't remember exactly where you were. Were you in the living room? Because it's a one bedroom. Were you in the bedroom, living room, kitchen, bathroom?
We were in the front.
You were in the front of the house.
trying to get him away from the shirt that he was getting burned in. Just trying to get him off of it and trying to get out of the apartment until we finally did get out. Because we were trying to stop the fire in the house.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember going
I
out?
had never tried one of those things. But I was excited because I thought it would make our lives easier.
Okay. What's your and Mr. Bradley's relationship?
We've been together 7 years.
7 years. Okay. And how's the relationship?
It's good. We have really good relationship. We have our fights like everybody else, but we have a good one.
Okay.
We get along great.
All right. Are you guys is he living in the same apartment with you, or do you guys separate apartments or anything?
No,
No?
we live in the same place. We have the lease is under both of our names, and he still has the house key. He still stays there. He's still there. That's our house. We're both paying for everything in it.
Oh, you say he's still there, so he lives there.
He lives with me.
Okay. All right. So he has belongings and clothing and all that stuff
Everything, yes,
at the house.
Yes, and he has his mother's personal stuff and his TV stand in the living room.
Okay.
He has his dad's grandfather watch. He's got his clothes in the closet. He's got more clothes in the other closet. He's got everything there. That's his house. That's our house. We both signed the lease. We just recently renewed the lease together.
Okay.
And we both have keys.
Okay.
And Link is our dog.
Link is your dog. What kind of dog is it?
He's a Yorkie. He's ours.
Okay. So you say you helped him get his shirt off. Then what happens after that?
I got helped him get his shirt off, and then we were just trying to get off those little patches of fire on the floor, and there was so much smoke. And then we started running for the door, and he started calling the police, and so did I.
He started calling for the police.
Yeah.
How did he call for the police?
On his cell phone, so did I. At the same time, we were both calling for help.
So
And the neighbors were downstairs. They were looking. We were both coming out of the house at the same time. We were both saying, call police, and we were calling the police too.
He was just screaming that she lit me on fire. She lit me on fire, and he ran out into the middle of the road.
Okay, then what happens after, I guess, you guys come outside and say call the police then? I mean, because tell me like you're telling the story. Say, we called the police, ran outside, tell me everything that you did.
We ran outside. He's screaming, help, call the police, and I was screaming the same thing. And we're both on the phone. He's talking to somebody, reporting what's going on, and I was calling the police too, reporting what was going on. I was like, please help. There was a fire in the breaking street. There was a fire his shirt. I had to take it off.
Okay, so you helped take his shirt off.
Yes, because
was
I
on
didn't
fire.
want him to get hurt.
Okay, all right. So then what happens to Bradley? Where is he when you guys were outside?
We were both outside. He ran to the middle of the street, and I was by the stairs.
Okay.
I was by the stairs, and then I went right back in because I couldn't see Lincoln follow us out. So I'm looking for the dog in the dark, and I can't see him. And I'm trying to shut off the little bench that was there, and I'm trying to throw the things across so that way I can get to the dog, but I still don't hear or see him.
Okay. So you remember that part. So let's go back. So you don't remember where you guys were standing when his shirt caught on fire.
I remember Lincoln because he couldn't get out. I don't know where he is. He didn't get out.
Okay.
I don't remember him getting out. I kept asking, and nobody would tell me anything.
Okay. All right. So Bradley comes over. You guys. You say you're cooking, but you don't remember cooking. But he comes over at some point. He comes over with the dog. You guys are talking or whatever. And so, how did he get to the point when you showed him the torch? At what point did you say? Did you say something to him? Say, hey, this is what I have, or what is it that wanted you to show him the torch? And you say you don't know where you don't know if you were in the living room, the bedroom, the kitchen.
Everything happened so fast, sir. Everything happened so fast. All I wanted to do was show him that we didn't have to go through all that other stuff that we went through when we used to do the barbecue before.
Okay.
That's all.
Did you have any prior communication with Bradley before the
Yes.
date? What did you guys talk about?
We talked about the day. I called him. I said good morning, and I said I love you, and he was like I love you too. And then we were talking. I was like, okay, babe, you know, I have the lasagna that I made the other day. You know, we're just gonna finish eating that. I have some steaks marinated in the refrigerator if you want to eat that.
Okay.
And then after that, he was like, I'm just gonna take a shower and, you know, let's go.
And that's when you guys were at the house, at the apartment?
And then he was like, I'm just gonna take a shower. He went to see his friend real quick. His friend is sick.
Okay. What day was that? Was that a couple of days ago? How long ago was that?
That was yesterday.
The same day of the incident?
Yeah, he was at his friend's house real quick.
Okay. So you said something about that he brought the dog.
Yeah, because I told him, take the dog so that way your friend can see him because his friend used to have dogs.
Okay, so you're saying that he came to the apartment first, grabbed the dog, and then went to go see his friend?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He always comes back every time, like he's there all the time because that's his apartment. That's that's his lease. That's his apartment. If you look on the lease and you ask Debbie Alder, that's his apartment. That's our apartment. We're both on there.
Okay. Okay, so
We've been living together for 7 years.
okay, so you're saying that he ends up coming out with a dog, you guys are, I guess, talking, sitting on the couch, watching TV. What are you guys doing? Both up to the point where you showed him the little flamethrower for the grill.
Nothing. He came back and he started telling me. It was a little bit of everything. I can't tell you straight exactly time and everything because I don't remember.
Yeah, that's fine if you don't remember exactly what you guys were talking about. Okay, so I'm just trying to understand. Go ahead.
I go to him. I'm sorry about that. You know, I started talking to him and he goes, I gotta get up, you know, let's go ahead and is the food done? And I said, yeah, the food is done. I had his lasagna on top of the counter with a cup of Coke and ice, and a fork and a spoon and a knife and a napkin. And then I went ahead and I told him, okay, babe, I warmed it up in the new wave.
Okay.
Which is the new wave that he had bought me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, okay, good, I'm hungry. So he went to the bathroom and then he came out and then that's when I showed it to him.
Okay, so he went to the bathroom. And he came out of the bathroom, that's when you showed him the torch?
Yeah, I told him, look, babe, this is going to make our life easier for the barbecue. And I showed him the carbon was right by the door. The meat was on top of the counter. There was a lot of meat on top of the counter because I wanted to grill out since it's Easter and it was a beautiful day. I wanted to do that. But I didn't turn it on thinking that I was going to have a problem. And I didn't even know what the hell I was doing.
Okay. So how do you turn it on? Like, how do you?
I don't know how. I just did it.
You just did it and it came on.
And it came on. It didn't even. It was like so easy, and I didn't even know how to use it. And then it said, I showed him about the flames, and that's when his shirt got on fire, and we started panicking. I ended up dropping it on the floor.
Okay.
And I was trying to pull up his shirt in the living room.
In the living room?
And I was trying to take off his shirt. I didn't want to get hurt. I was telling him, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm there. I'm in the arm next to it.
I just wanted to make it easier. I didn't want to cause any problems. I've never been in a fire. It was the scariest thing of my life.
Okay.
I didn't even know anything about links.
All right. Let me see if I can find out what happened with Mr. Bradley and the dog. So just give me a second, okay?
Lisa, my baby, my poor baby.
So.
Oh, good.
Okay, so Ms. Perez, let's go over this just one more time. So you're saying Mr. Bradley comes over. About what time does he arrive? And this time he arrives with the dog, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember what time, but you know he arrives with the dog. And you said that where? So you say he came to the apartment and picked up the dog before visiting his friend.
He wanted to take the dog to see his friend because his friend had dogs, and because his wife and his friend have to separate it, his friend doesn't get to see them.
Were you home at the time
Yes.
when he came? Okay, so then he comes back with the dog. At that point, you say you had lasagna already done, and you put it in the new wave, the warming up in the new wave. Okay, and then you say he goes. Some point he goes to the bathroom and he comes out, and you show him the flame, the little torch. Then you say you accidentally set it off.
I didn't know that it was on.
You didn't know it was on,
I
but
didn't know it was on.
which caused
I never used it.
for him to burn his shirt. You help him take off the shirt, but and then then you say, but the carpet is trying to catch on fire. Okay.
Because I dropped it when I saw him. I dropped it. I was paranoid because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to shut it off. I didn't know how to work with it.
So it was still on.
Yeah, I didn't know how to shut it off.
Okay.
I was trying to help him. That was my main concern. I didn't want him to get injured.
Okay. All right. So then ultimately both of you guys get outside, and you said
We finally got to shut off the flames, and then we got outside, but it was so smoky in there we just couldn't see Lincoln.
okay. So he runs out. You're able to run out. You have your cell phone. You say you're calling 911, and he's calling 911. You see him with the cell phone calling 911.
Yes.
Okay. So he's with a cell phone calling 911. Then at some point you realize that Link is still inside the apartment, so you go back inside. Now, are you able to get Link out of the apartment?
No, I couldn't see nothing at
Okay.
all. I couldn't see anything. I was just
Okay.
freaking out and hoping that he was okay. I kept calling for him and calling for him. He wouldn't answer me.
Do you remember coming back out of the apartment? Did you go all the way in, or did you just stand like at the
I
threshold of
went
the door?
everywhere inside trying to find him with my flashlight from my phone. I couldn't see him.
Okay. Is there anything else that you can remember from that night?
No.
Anything in detail? Even if it's a spotty memory, is there anything?
No, there's nothing happened, just an accident.
So you said you had the torch because you were going to barbecue. So did you have charcoals and
I had
stuff?
everything by the door.
You had-
Everything. The whole bag got damaged. Everything. I had a big bag of charcoal. I had the liquid. I had the thing, and I had some sausages, and I had something else, which was the mild sausage, and one was the kielbasa. I had everything on top of the counter ready to go barbecue because it was the Easter.
Okay, so you had all the meat on the counter, but you had the other things.
And the
at the
carbon
front.
by the door,
Okay.
ready to go.
Okay.
I had everything set up for us to barbecue. Like if after we ate the lasagna, I was like, okay, it's Easter. Let's go and do barbecue or something. You know, I wanted after we saw the panther, but I didn't think that was gonna happen. I've never been in a fire.
Okay.
All I remember is being so scared and
Okay.
confused, not knowing what to do.
Okay. And you say you remember the officer was talking with you, and you were in the back of the ambulance.
There was a lady talking to me. I couldn't hardly understand nothing she was saying.
Do you think you were passing out or anything, or?
She says that I was hyperventilating
Okay.
and I had lots of smoke. And she said that I could pass out. I was not doing that. All I could cry is about Lincoln and Bradley, and I was just crying about them and begging for them to be okay.
Okay. When did Bradley see? When you looked at Bradley, did he have any? Did he look to be injured or anything? From what you can see, or from what you can tell?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else?
I can't remember. I can't remember everything. My mind just went blank.
Okay. And how often does that happen? Like
It just went blank yesterday
just
because
went
of the fire. I thought I was gonna die. I thought we were gonna die.
Okay. All right.
I've never been close to a fire like that. I've never seen a fire.
Okay. So we're going to get to the real story, the real thing. I've talked to Bradley. I talked to Bradley in detail.
Can you switch this, please, to the front? My arms are really hurt.
Nah, I can't. Nah, they're flexible. Just lean back.
I can't.
We talked to Bradley. So again, explain to me what's your relationship with Bradley?
We're going out together.
You're going together, and how long you been together?
7 years.
Okay. So have you guys been on good terms or bad terms?
We've been on good terms.
Have you guys been arguing lately or
No.
anything?
We haven't been arguing.
Neighbors and coworkers told me they saw the warning signs, including regular verbal arguments.
Met her a couple times and never really had a good impression of her, and this kind of just confirms everything that we all suspected.
The screaming and the yelling, which was kind of like a, daily thing with them.
So Bradley says that he moved out 10 days ago.
Bradley's been going to help his friend. Bradley's things are still in the house. Bradley just signed the lease with me. I could prove that
What?
because I have a copy of the lease that he signed.
Bradley said he signed the lease.
Okay.
Listen. So either you're lying or he's lying about what's going on.
Why would you sign
So-
a lease if you're not with someone?
Bradley explained that he signed the lease under the condition that he was going to pay for April, and then management had an understanding that at any time he could take his name off the lease, and it was going to solely be yours. So you guys never had a conversation about that.
No.
Never had a conversation. So you're telling me his belongings were in the home.
Yes.
Bradley stated that he took a lot of his belongings out of the home.
The TV stand in the living room is his. The watch in the wall is his.
What about clothing?
The clothes in the closet are his.
Was Bradley getting dressed at work at the apartment? Was he getting dressed for work?
Yes.
Okay. So then you say on the night that when Bradley went to go visit his friend, he stopped by the apartment and grabbed the dog and go. I know he didn't do that, and it was confirmed that he didn't do that. So do you want to tell me about
I
the dog?
didn't say at night Bradley went to pick up the dog.
Well, you said he came by after work. I know Bradley didn't go by there and pick up the dog and
Bradley
break.
came to pick up the dog in the morning.
I know Bradley didn't come and pick up the dog to take it by his friend. I know you brought the dog to him because you were dressed up for something.
No, and Bradley came over the night before too.
No,
Did he tell you that?
hold on. I'm telling you that you came over and met him where he was at his friend's house and brought the dog there. Did you or did you not?
No, and who said that?
I'm asking you because I'm asking you questions. The answers I already know. I want to see how honest you're going to be with me.
Okay.
All right. Did you or did you not take the dog over there where Bradley was at the friend's house?
No.
So that's your answer. No to that question.
Yes.
You sure you wanted to say that's your answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So he comes to the apartment. Did you ever discuss to him about fixing anything in the bathroom?
I told him that the sink in the bathroom was leaking.
Okay. You told him that.
But I told him that I had fixed it.
You told him that you had fixed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just leaking because the pipes were loose.
Okay. So, but
That was an easy fix.
okay. So when he went in the bathroom, was it still leaking? Was there water on the floor? Was there anything like that?
There was a little water on the floor, but I think it was just excess from the one that already had been dried, but it had still leaked on the floor, whatever was left, the residue or whatever.
Okay, so officers told me that it said that there were plywood in the apartment.
Yeah,
Next
I
to
had
the window.
plywood in the windows.
What was the plywood for?
Because I wanted to make something.
Make what?
I was just thinking about being creative, getting outside and doing something different.
Okay, so the plywood was for something for you to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to invent something because when I was younger, I used to like building stuff.
Okay, so but Bradley is saying that you told him that they were for you to put on the windows because you didn't like how hot the apartment was because of the sunlight.
No, I discussed with him that I was going to buy some black curtains, but I told him till I found them, I wasn't going to put any up there because I didn't find the right one.
Okay, so you're saying the plywood was for you to
I wanted to invent something. Do you ever watch Home Improvements?
yeah, yes, yeah.
That's what I was trying to see because I wanted to make something like Home Improvements. I
Okay.
wanted to make a different kind of idea with my wood, and I only bought 4 of them.
Okay.
So I was thinking either I could build Link like a little house that I could keep him outside, or I was thinking maybe I can go ahead and build some different stuff.
Did you have the tools for those items?
Yes.
Did you have the tools for all that stuff?
Well, I didn't have every single tool, but I had some things.
Like what? What did you have?
In Home Improvement, they don't have a lot of tools. They use like what? Screwdrivers. They use other stuff. They use cutters and stuff, which I don't need to buy because my neighbor Tony has that stuff, and I told him that when I was ready, if he would help me with it, he said yeah.
Okay. Okay, so
So I have the right to be creative. I
Yeah.
like being creative.
yeah, you're right. You have the right. So
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you just switch them up here in the front, please?
they're the plastic ones.
I know, but I am hurting so
I
bad.
don't- I can't-
My arm is numb, and I feel so much pain on my arm.
I
And
don't-
plus, they put some needle in my arm.
I don't know how to
That's angry.
turn like those. Don't.
Can they put the regular one?
They
Please?
don't.
I don't care if they put the regular one. Just please switch. I can't take the pain because I have a very sensitive shoulder.
All right, I'll see if I can find it. But give me 1 second. Let's finish this.
I can't.
All right. Give me 1 second. All right, so Ms. Perez, let's finish talking again. So, I explained to you. I already talked to Bradley. So, if any of this doesn't sound correct, then interrupt me. Bradley says the night before you come by, you drop off the dog. So, but granted, he's already moved out 10 days earlier because he rented a van from work, grabbed a lot of his belongings, and moved in with his friend because the relationship that he said he's explained to you several times that that he wanted to break up, but whenever he would mention something like that, you would get angry and violent and mad. He thought they were just blowing off steam. So again, the night before, you drop off the dog to him and his at the friend's house. The next day, he comes over because he says, yes, you said that you got some movie tickets from a coworker and you wanted to go see a movie or whatever, and you had already explained to him that, hey, there's a leak up under the sink, and you asked him, can he take a look at it? He says, fine. He gets to the apartment. You guys, at some point, he goes in the restroom. He says there's water all on the floor. And he goes under the sink and moves some items around and pulls some stuff out so he can fix it. He said the pipe was a little loose than normal, than it probably should have been. He said it leaked. That pipe has leaks here and there, but not to the point where there's been a huge puddle in the bathroom. He says that he looks back and you're standing over him. Standing over him with the torch and with the lighter fluid for the chalk walls. He says, he asks you, what are you doing? And then you say what you said, sprayed him with it, and lit him on fire. He says, once he realizes what you're trying to do, he's trying to get out of the apartment, you're running behind him. He's trying to get out of the apartment. You're interfering with him getting out. He's trying to pull away from you. You continue to lock the door to keep him inside the apartment. you start to spray the carpet. The carpet starts to catch on fire. He's still trying to get away from you. Finally, he was able to unlock the door and get outside. Mr. Bradley didn't have a cell phone. You're the only one that called 911. He ran downstairs and saw people that were driving by and stopped them and asked them to call 911. If any of this doesn't sound right, tell me that it doesn't sound right. Tell me what did I miss, or is all of that a complete lie?
A few more minutes.
No, it's a complete lie.
A few more minutes.
That's a complete lie.
A few more minutes, then we go.
So you tell me what happened.
Okay.
But you're telling me that you can't remember what happened.
A couple more
I
minutes.
can't
then
remember
you'll
everything
be
that
on.
happened, but that's not it.
Bradley has his story. Let me tell you, his injuries are consistent with what he's saying. Everything that we found, listen, everything.
Because the shirt got on fire,
Listen,
yes.
no. Just a shirt get on fire doesn't call the extent of the injuries that he has. If you look at his injuries, it's just not where his shirt was. His shirt doesn't cause the injuries that he has, and not just from the shirt catching on fire.
Where is he injured?
So, he's injured on the whole right side of his body. So the shirt, I've had my shirt smaller, and I had my shirt, and I padded that. A shirt catching on fire doesn't do that. If his shirt caught on fire to the point where it was do damage like that, it would be stuck to him. So
It wasn't stuck to it.
I know that. So you tell me what happened, because obviously you're not because you have amnesia that you don't want to go into details of what really happened. Bradley remembers everything. Bradley told us everything. And everything that he told us is consistent with what we found in the apartment. So at what point do you want to start telling me the truth?
I've been telling you the truth.
So you told them that it was an accident. So you setting his shirt on fire was an accident.
I said he was too close and it got on fire.
You told, when you
I
called
was honest
911,
about that.
when you called 911, you said it was an accident.
Yes, it was an accident. What is it going to be? I don't want to set something on fire. I don't want to burn someone. I'm not that type of person.
Okay.
I've never done that.
So you never so you didn't back out and get angry and knew that Bradley moved all his stuff out. You were angry at him because he didn't want to marry you. You're angry.
He's been there every day.
So
He's been with me every single day. So let me ask you something.
go ahead.
He sleeps with me. He's still with me. He comes to eat with me. He's got his stuff in the house again. He takes a shower there. He stays there. He leaves. He comes back.
So
What do you call that? You call that he's not there?
So all the way up to the day of this incident, he's been sleeping and waking up and going to work and doing
He has
everything
been
from
there
home.
every day. The neighbors have seen him. I have seen him. My neighbors have called me and told me, "Yep, we just saw Bradley leaving."
Were you there?
Yep. Yes.
So why would your neighbors call you and tell you, yeah, we just saw Bradley
Because
leaving?
they go, "Oh, you what? You getting laid? You getting some nookie? Is that why your man comes over here to give you some loving?" And or they tease me with that stuff. But they know that he's there. He's there all the time.
But why would they suggest something like that if he lives there?
Sir, I get it because I used to tell them that Bradley had a porn addiction
Okay.
and that sometimes he didn't want to have sex.
Okay.
And that I told him that I had a problem with that and we would argue about it. But then I said, okay, I'm going to be open-minded and I'm going to try it a different way. Maybe things will work out. And they started to work out.
Okay.
But still,
But
every time my neighbor, the other day, my neighbor goes, "Oh, there goes Bradley. I just saw him with a U-Haul. He brought some of his stuff back." When I got to the house, yeah, some of his stuff was there. His mom's stuff, his TV stand, his watch. So, yeah.
yeah, you said
And
a
then he
watch,
tells me-
a
then
TV
he-
stand. Okay, if
Then
that's
he tells me yesterday,
Mhm.
"Yes, babe, I'm thinking about coming home."
okay.
He goes, and I don't want to, I'm taking care of him right now on and off, but he goes, I want to be home. He goes, this is where I want to be.
And he says all this to you
Yeah,
before on the phone or in person?
on the phone.
On the phone before he comes over.
Yeah, because he wants to be home, because he's comfortable there.
He said this to you on the phone while he was at Roberts that on the same day, correct?
Yeah, he was at Robert's that morning because he went over there to check on Robert.
Did he go to work that day?
No, none of us worked that day. We were both off. That's why we were planning yesterday to go to the movies and have a barbecue and eat some lasagna.
Okay, so
Because we were both off. It was just to enjoy the evening together and to spend the night together. And
okay,
to,
so
and to
So he's with you at the apartment Sunday morning. He leaves with the dog to go visit Robert. Then he calls you and has this conversation with you about wanting to move back.
He tells me all the time, and I tell Tony upstairs. Tony's always like, Shivon,
So when did he move
he
out?
knows that he wants to be with you. He knows that he loves you. He's gonna be here, blah blah. Tony's always telling me that, and I always call Tony. Tony, look, he's coming back. He's coming back. He's already
So
back.
when did he move out?
He really never did move out because he's always at the house. He still has a house key. Ask him to open the door for
Okay,
you.
that's fine. People separate and people go.
No.
Some people they move out for a week or so. They just get away from each other. So you're saying that he wanted to move back. So at some point he had to move. If he told you he wants to come back, so at what point did he
He
move?
went to stay at Robert's for like a couple of days. Then
Okay.
No. And then I go to him, give me the house key if you're not gonna come back. You know what he says? No, I'm not giving you the house key.
And okay, so when did that take place?
And I told him, okay, so you don't want to give me the house key. But he goes, but I'm there every day. We're still dating. We're still together. He goes, what's the problem? I go, the difference is that, you're always going to be at Robert's. He goes, no, I'm not, because my stuff is coming back home. And yesterday, he literally looked at my face and he told me, I am planning on coming back. That's what he told me right when I had his lasagna on top of the counter with his soda, with his cup of ice, and he told me that.
He told you he was coming back home.
And that was right before the incident when I went to show him that stupid torch. That if I had not showed him the torch, we would not have had a problem. All I did was show it to him. I don't know how to use that stuff. I don't know. People made it seem like it would be easy to make a barbecue because I even texted to him on his phone, hey babe, we're going to have a barbecue after we go see the movie.
So when you show someone something, so instead of just picking it up, did you just pick it up and say, hey, look, this is what I have? Or did you manipulate it somehow? Did you grab or pull something?
All I heard was when I picked it up, I kept hearing like a little bit of hissing, but I didn't know what the hell it was. Because I've never had one of those things. So when I went like this and I pressed the button, it lit. And that's when we had the fire start. But I didn't start the fire intentionally. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't even know how to use that machine.
Is there any type of safety mechanism on there?
No.
On there? So you just pick it up and you just pull.
You pick it up and you supposedly play with that black knob that's in the front. And then you press that lighter thing. But I don't know. I don't know what it's for.
Okay.
Like I said, I've never used one. I've never had one of those. I've never done none of that.
Do you remember turning the black knob or anything on it?
No.
But you just pulled, you heard it hiss and you pulled the trigger for it.
I heard a little hiss. It could have been from anything in the house. I didn't know it was like that. Sir, I'm not a mechanical person. I'm not a person who works around with these kind of things. It was my first time.
Okay.
I didn't mean to cause an accident.
Okay.
I tried to help him. I love him.
Okay. So
Bradley would tell anybody, I've been loyal. I do everything for him. There's nothing I wouldn't do for him. How would I ever want to hurt somebody I adore and I love?
Well, it's almost an impression that you put so much time in a relationship with him.
No.
Well, hold on.
both did. He's had my back too.
That's what I'm saying. You guys put so much time into the relationship, but when he finally decides, you know what, this is not what I want to do anymore. Now he comes over because he asked you. He said, "Hey, what's this 2x4?" Well, you tell him. He says that you told him it was for the windows. When he asked about the charcoal and stuff, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm having it because I'm a barbecue." Okay, yes, he understands that. But you told him about the water and the pipe that was that was loose. So he goes and he sees, yep, there's pipe is loose. There's a exponential amount of water that's on the ground that normally is not on the ground. He said the pipe was a little bit more loose than usual. But you say you tightened it. Now, did you tighten it or did you untighten it?
I tried.
I did the best that I could. I'm not techie. I don't know.
Well, you don't have to be techie. The screw.
Do a lot of stuff in the house. That's why he was talking to me about also the ventilator and other stuff. I told him, I do the best that I can. I really never been a handyman.
Okay.
I work a lot.
Okay.
I'm never in the house.
Okay.
I'm always out.
All right.
In different facilities. I'm always driving. I'm always working. I'm hardly ever home.
Okay. So when Bradley is in the bathroom, you say he comes out of the bathroom, and that's when you show him the toy.
I don't remember.
What you said earlier. You said you said that he comes out of the bathroom, and that's when you show him the torch. I know he didn't make it out of the bathroom without you showing him the torch because there's burnt marks in the bathroom. So I know you're lying. He was in the bathroom when this happened. He wasn't out of the bathroom. He was in the bathroom.
Then there's nothing else for me to say because you say you know the truth. And you say that Bradley knows the truth, so nobody wants to listen to what I have to say.
No,
that's fine.
no, I'm listening to you, but
No,
the story. Listen, hold on, Miss Perez. Listen,
not being believed.
Miss Perez.
Okay.
Listen, this is what. Hold on, listen.
I can't remember everything.
Okay, listen. This is what we do daily. We go through this stuff all the time. The story that Mr. Bradley gave, we can match it with the scene at the apartment. We can match it with the scene at the apartment of what he's saying. He was like, you know what? This makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense because of what he's saying. But what you're telling me, it doesn't make sense with what was at the apartment.
Because I don't remember every single detail, sir.
Okay.
Can you imagine being in a fire and being in shock, not knowing what's going on, knowing that the person that you love is getting hurt, and then your dog, you have no idea where he is, and then you don't even know what's going to happen with you because you have your rug getting burned, all your property getting burned that you worked so hard for. Can you imagine all my concerns, all my things, especially knowing that he was on fire? I'm trying to get his shirt off. I'm trying to save him. And then I go in twice to try to save my dog.
Okay. Okay.
That's all that's going through my mind right now.
Okay. So right now,
Nothing
I'm
else.
gonna just start right now so you could take time to kind of calm, think about it, relax. I'm gonna tell you this. His shirt doesn't depict the injuries that he has because he has some severe injuries. All right, so I'm gonna let you sit here. Okay,
I love him.
I'm gonna let you sit here.
I just hope that he's okay.
Okay, sit. I want you to think about the incident, and then I'll come back and talk to you.
When the detective returned, Shivon refused to answer any more questions and requested legal counsel. In the end, she was found guilty of attempted first-degree murder, kidnapping, and arson. She was sentenced to 17 years in prison. Crime Circuit. Like, share, subscribe.